Imagine living in paradise. In a great city, full of nice people. With office towers where work, fun, and rest seem to merge. And with suburbs being easily accessible. And then imagine a green, clean, and peaceful place right near the center of a city you can enjoy whenever you want. Whilst at the same time being able to rest from the hustle and bustle of a city in the peace of your home. You can exercise outdoors in fresh air. You can relax in the refreshing atmosphere of wellness fountains. Being surrounded by nature and trees, including those bearing delicious fruit. One day, the city's mayor blights your neighborhood with streetcars. Despite streetcars are considered to be a friendly, green, and safe mode of transportation, and despite dozens of YouTube channels advocate for extending tram networks in Europe, and for bringing streetcars back to US cities, residents don't always share the enthusiasm. People in some places perceive them as an unwelcome intrusion. The idea of urban railroads is as old as trains themselves. In the days of horse carriages, streetcars paved the way for the system of public transport. It was a novelty 200 years ago, which rapidly spread across many cities around the world. In later years, US cities were remodeled to match the widespread use of individual cars, which provided much more freedom, autonomy, and prevented the empty runs when off-peak public transportation operates with a small number of passengers, or entirely empty. At that stage, the residents of one European city realized that there was no space for all the cars, trams, and buses.
Please only customers off for train fares. Thank you.
That city was London. It was facing the risk of becoming a network of transportation channels, ruining walkability. The alternative that became available initiated a new trend. London moved most of its commuting grid underground. This was financially viable due to the dense urbanization and the popularity of public transportation. Even the first streetcars were crowded to the point that passengers were allowed to ride on the roof, initiating the double-decker system.
74 to Putney High Street.
Iconic streetcars are present up to this day and go up the hilly streets of Lisbon, whilst, at the same time, serving as a major tourist attraction. For suburbs with single-family housing, only car transportation is financially viable. It is a well-known last-mile problem, which affects all sorts of services. While Jeff Bezos' delivery service using a drone remains a dream in a number of countries, automated green boxes are getting set up in a walking distance from people's homes. They get supplied by electric-driven vans. People can easily pick up their deliveries from these boxes themselves when they want to, and don't have to wait for their delivery. This solves the last-mile delivery problem.
Sabe quando vocês aprenderam? A noite inteira.
Sharing space is a new trend. Whilst gardening might be enjoyable, not everyone wants to devote Sundays to lawn mowing. There are places where people discovered advantages of shared space, who choose to live in apartments or townhouses, while the remaining space is shared for the benefit of every member of the community. Why invest tons of money in a private backyard when it is of use only a few hours a week? The shared economy pays off both financially and also saves time. This is one of the main reasons people move to live in cities. They can freely use public space that is well maintained. And the same pattern can be applied to commuting, giving us the prospect of an extra gain in the form of cost-effective public transport. Just have a look at the way the neighborhood that I am presenting today uses communal space. Well-maintained sports fields, children's playgrounds. The trees are cared for and are replaced when their life is over. Even decorations and benches are created from the trunks. The space for small wildlife is protected. Fountains are charming and original. Tasty apples grow, making vegetation not only attractive, but also useful. There are also various types of buses now, hybrids, electric or hydrogen-driven. They are a perfect alternative for those who don't like or can't ride bicycles. The green buffer zone separates city streets from the residential areas. Even the birds have safe and aesthetically pleasing nesting boxes set up. However, no one is forbidding cars here. They have their designated place in a way that does not impede anyone's quality of life. Convenience is provided for both drivers and other residents in a peaceful and consensual manner. You are welcome to come by car to the very entrance of the house. It is just a nice thing to do to drop your car off later at a nearby parking lot. Especially given that you can charge it up with free solar power for another ride of your choice. It is a walkable area that allows car access if needed. No one abuses the system as bicycles are the transportation method of choice for longer journeys and provide access to every location. They are complemented by a network of reliable electric buses. Modern buses are no longer noisy and smelly. Scooters used for deliveries are powered with electricity, and so are buses, reducing noise and harmful emissions. Although the neighborhood streets aren't busy, the pedestrianized area has been designed to be particularly safe. Similar patterns and developmental trends in urban agglomerations can be seen around the world. Well-kept public space, rather than busy streets, becomes the setting for residential buildings. In sunny Portugal, in East London. Here in London, residents have a DLR subway station in close proximity to their homes. And that's just what has been missing in the neighborhood I'm presenting in today's video. Just as for Lewisham in London, the central district of the city is located on the other side of the river. In this video, buildings are not particularly visible. But by abandoning the development of single-family houses, a substantial part of the land could be dedicated to forests with tall trees, mimicking Washington City, with 20% of its land devoted to parks. The aerial panoramic view of this area looks nice and green. The main underground station is just a couple of miles away from the paradise-like residential area, which has been accessed using a shuttle bus over a local bridge for years. It was just a matter of building a single station and a tunnel underneath the river to make the place perfect. The mayor of the city cheap out. That's when poor planning started causing problems. The underground station project was cancelled due to budgetary constraints, and the city offered a tram link instead. Initially slightly cheaper to build, certainly more expensive in a long run. With an awful lot of money, a new, separate bridge was constructed to serve as a crossing way for the tram, linking the suburbia with the city's main underground system. Huge additional funds were allocated to protect the residential area against noise. Unfortunately, the bridge wouldn't have been able to withstand the impact of the wind on the noise barriers, and so they could not be installed. The terrible clatter-like noise became a source of immense distress for the local community. A ride on a sideway bicycle path takes just a quarter of an hour. To be useful, the shuttle tram had to run every few minutes, otherwise no one would use it. That exposed the residents to the rattling cacophony hundreds of times every day. Despite various attempts by engineers, the situation could not be improved. The city council gave up and the tram link project got scrapped. The underground extension is now being developed. Construction is already underway on the other side of the bridge. I only hope that other cities will think twice before taking on such mammoth expenditure on a tram link that no one wants. The channel presents various aspects of modern life to demonstrate that the idea of the evolutionary ethics works perfectly well on solving any kind of human interactions in any field of interest. To learn more about the physics of a very core fabric of the universe, to understand and acquire skills for solving any problem in your life, get familiar with the concept and read about the evolutionary ethics. To understand the mechanics behind the universe underneath each and every situation that is around you, you will no longer be surprised or confused by anything that is happening.